This is a toolbox lid catch I've had kicking about for a while, but never had time to do anything with it. As you can see there, it's got a keyhole, so there's been some form of lock in the back to come through that hole and lock into that little dimple. Well, I haven't got any of the innards, so I thought the next best thing is just a ball catch, a spring ball catch through the back just to hold it, you know. It's obviously been very rusty, this, and it's cleaned up, but it doesn't look very good. So we'll have a go at see what we can do. That's riveted on, so I think I'll have to drill and tap. I'll have to make this a bit thicker and drill and tap it for a couple of 3mm screws, countersunks, and see where we'll go from there. The base part of it consists of a 2-inch wide by quarter brass 2x2 quarter. It's taken down to 0.210 to get the right thickness for that, you know. And the first operation's to drill the back, to take these two screw holes and this centre hole for the ball and spring, and then it's put on a sub plate after that, which is that. Gets screwed onto that, and then the top side's cut out, and you can see there's a 10-degree slope on that side. It puts that on and a little radius on the top. Just popping these holes through, and then they've got to be countersunk for the countersunk screws. I've already done that one. The countersinks have got to go in 64th hour, I think. Right, we've got to drill the hole for that ball and spring. I'll just change the tune and I'll come back. Right, this is a 5.7 drill. The 6mm ball that goes in here, I don't want it to go right through, so it'll stick out the top of this hole about 80 thou. And now it's got to be opened up for a thread to take the piece that holds the spring in the ball. So, but that doesn't go right through. Right, this one hasn't got to go right through. I'll need a lip at the bottom for the ball to sit on, so that's going to be a rough guess. That'll do, I think. Right, we need to tap in. Right, I'll have to go and get a top wrench to finish that off. Right, we'll drill the 3 holes for the mounting screws, and then it can go onto the sub plate for all the top sides to be done. Right, we can flip that over now and get it mounted onto the sub plate. Right, we'll all bolt it onto the sub plate there, so we'll start it away and see what happens. That's a rough shape, it's got to go around again for a finishing cut. In fact, I think it goes round a couple of times. Right, that's a rough shape. Change the cutter and put the radius on. that's that bit done. Feels nice. These cutter marks on the side, they'll polish out. They're very shallow. They'll polish out look here. But that's turned out quite nice. And it's got the slope, the 10-degree slope on the side. That's it compared with the original, which it's not too far away, I don't think. It's reasonably the same shape. This piece starts off as a piece of 1/2 inch by 5/16 brass. It's got to be drilled and tapped for 2 holes to replace these rivets, but it also holds the part on this, for want of a better word, sub plate. It bolts through there, so you can get right round with a cutter, you know. Right, we'll give that a go. So I'm just going to manually clean this end up to get a good surface on it, and then that'll be our starting point. Right, I've got to move the cutter in 1/2 of its diameter, and that's our 0 point. It's a 3mm cutter, so that's like 59 thou in, so that's where we're at now. Now the 2 holes for the screws. These have got to go down exactly 1/4 inch, or they'll break through the top. Just finish them off with a top wrench, because you get no feeling when you're turning that chuck. You need to know when the top's going to snap. Like there. Right, all we need to do with that now is cut the length and then it can be bolted up. So that's what we end up with to start making that piece. As I see it bolts onto here. That means you can get right round it with a cutter, all the places that you need to be. The only bit that needs moving is when the radius goes on the bottom edge. So we'll get her in and do that now. Right, I'll have to change the cutter. We've got a 5 thou rad, a 25 thou radius to put on the top of there, so. Yeah, that's come out nice. We'll flip it and do the other side. And that's the catch pot complete. That's it there. Well, complete except for the polishing, which is not my department.